We are on. Welcome back to episode number something. I should have checked that before I hit record. I think this is 16, maybe 17.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. Many episodes of Knights Nuggets. We are once again joined by the gorgeous Mr. Charlie Beestone.
Hello.
With his Nana haircut.
I look like Big Claire.
You've done well. So on today's episode, again, we're going to try and do some like educational stuff, but like minimal amounts, and then we're going to talk shit for probably about half an hour. Mm-hmm. So there's a kind of key line into what we're doing here. First thing I wanted to just head the recording off with, shall we say, on the 28th of April, 2021, Mr. Charlie Beestone will be doing a nutrition workshop for us at Redbeard Barbell Club. So it's going out to all of our members and non-members. So I'll say for us at Redbeard Barbell Club, we're going to be sort of hosting it. Charlie's going to be doing it, but it's for anybody. So if you want to learn some stuff about nutrition, we'll put some information in the show notes. I think they are now. Is that show notes? Is that a thing? I'm going to go show notes. We'll put some information out. And also nearer the time, there'll be some like little bits and pieces of what we're going to sort of cover. I say what Charlie's going to cover. He's very good at nutrition. I'm fucking terrible. So he's going to cover stuff off about nutrition, return to gym, nutrition, performance, weight cuts, all of that kind of good stuff. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be exciting. Obviously also delivered via probably Zoom, because everyone's on Zoom these days. Actually, I did a Microsoft Teams call the other day, and I felt like I cheated on Zoom a little bit. It felt like it didn't feel right.
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah.
I'm a fan. Didn't like it. It was weird. But yes, 28th of April, Zoom call with Mr. Beast and talking about nutrition and that kind of good stuff. So for more information on that, drop either one of us a note. Tickets will be going live for that pretty soon. We'll do like tickets to come on and do that. And then obviously if you buy a ticket, you'll get the recording afterwards. So you can relive all the wonderment that is Charlie Beestone's workshop.
Yeah.
There you go. I feel like I sold that well.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to buy a ticket and I'm doing it.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I'll take your money for a ticket. That's fine.
All right.
I mean, it goes all straight back to you again. So basically you're just giving me you're just giving me money that I'll give straight back again. It's like a really shit savings account.
Yeah.
I feel like that works. Like when you give your mum a $5 to look after so you don't spend it on anything, but then you get it back and immediately buy Pokemon cards. That never happened. Don't know what you're talking about.
That was last week. Don't worry about it.
It was.
It's a new week this week, mate.
Anyway, so with that in mind, obviously you are, if I'm right in saying, you're on your last week of your habit sprint.
I am. That is correct.
Perfect. How has that been? Talk to us about that.
It's been very good. I think a lot of people have got a lot from it. And the feedback so far has been very good. So we've been through how to like actually plan goals and how to actually set habits that are going to be useful for you. Which sounds really obvious, but actually for most people, they set habits that actually aren't going to move them any closer to whatever their goal is that they want, which doesn't really make sense. And then we spoke about how to make goals a little bit easier in the second week. So how to make sure that we actually hit our habits consistently. Third week, we've looked at some awareness of what we're currently doing. How do we make changes based on habits we're doing at the moment and stuff like that. And then this last week is just about how to change long-term behavior. So what are the things that we want to consider if we're looking to change behavior in the next, like for 6, 9, 12 months and beyond that as well. But yeah, a lot of people have made a lot of really positive changes, which has been really nice to see.
Awesome, man. So like what do you think has been the sort of biggest takeaway from like feedback you've had from that? What have people mainly got out of that?
I think it's actually the biggest thing, which again sounds simple but can't be underestimated, is people just being aware of what they're currently doing. Like I think we operate so much on autopilot, particularly at the moment, but like in general, modern society. Yeah, like screen time's a prime example. How many people know how much time they spend on their phone? Not many people do. But if you look at the numbers, it's horrendous. Like at one point during first lockdown, I was on about 11 hours on my phone per day.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Like, I remember doing this workshop when I was at Heartbeat as my old job as a performance lifestyle coach. And this one kid was doing the equivalent of 1.5 full-time jobs on his phone on social media.
Wow.
Like, I said, like, if you look at it that way, based on average earnings, you've lost about 30 grand.
Yeah.
You could have earned in that year. So yeah, 100%. Just awareness of what you're doing. Because once you know what you're doing and what's driving you to do that, change is really easy. But most people can't change because they actually don't know what it is they're doing now. They're not aware enough of their current habits to actually make any changes in the first place. You can't change what you don't know.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those. So I just to sort of tack on the end of that, I'm currently experiencing exactly that.
Yeah.
So there's kind of things that I've just sort of, it's complete autopilot. So my last, I don't know how long this last lockdown's lasted. My last 19 years, I think, this last one's lasted.
Yeah.
I've obviously been working outside. We've had like a little spot set up behind the village hall, which, not a euphemism. We've been around the back of the village hall, which feels odd at 33 years old. I feel like I need a bottle of white lightning and like a skip. There wasn't no white lightning, which is really unfortunate. But I've been working there because obviously the COVID rules were 1-to-1 outside, public space, all that kind of good stuff. And my last, however long this lockdown's been, has been thrown into complete, just carnage. Like just trying to form any kind of habit or trying to keep any sort of routine has been completely out the window. Obviously, I've had people in and out most days from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. just coming to train, which is awesome, but I can't complain. It's kept people training. Like my members have really benefited from it. I've still been able to do some personal training, which has kept the money coming in, which is awesome. So, I can't complain too much. I'm gonna, but I can't. But like, it's that whole sort of, getting out and doing things and just trying to plan meals and eat, inverted commas, sensibly. It's been an absolute carnage. So now we're, as of, where are we? Yesterday. We're back at the barn. Obviously outside, but there's more people allowed to train outside now. So we've got a few stations set up, like either side of the gym. So more people can come down, which has freed up an awful lot of time for me. So where before it was, 8, 9, 10 were 3 slots for 3 people.
Yeah.
But all 3 of those people can come at 9. So it's freed up an awful lot of time for me. So that's quite cool. So from yesterday, I've now got time to prep and think about what I'm eating and that sort of stuff. And, you kind of come off autopilot and become more aware of what you're doing. And my autopilot has basically been self-destruct the last 3 months or so. Just sort of like whistle home real quick between people, like smash some food into my face, not really think about what's going in. I'm just hungry. So like the last few weeks, I've probably been averaging like 4,000 or 5,000 calories and not training and just generally being just a knob with food. So yeah, so the whole that whole kind of thing, I relate to that. Obviously, I didn't do your habit sprint because I wouldn't have had time. I would have been an absolute shit show. I would have definitely skewed your figures, 100%. But I think it tails in, like the point I'm trying to make, it tails into kind of like the right or wrong time to do things. So for me, any time in the last couple of months, absolutely the wrong time to try and implement things. So I'm just treading water, trying to keep things moving. Whereas now things are starting to sort of enter a level playing field. Now probably a really good time for a lot of people, myself included, to try and start putting a bit of focus on things.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think what you'll find is that you're not going from like having no time at all to having all the time in the world, and that'll be reflected in the changes you make. So what people often get wrong is that they wait for a time when they can change every single thing in their life, but no one ever has that time.
No.
Like, there's always something that gets in the way. You always think, it's going to be after this, or I've just got this coming up and then I can, and it just never works. So rather than waiting for a perfect time to overhaul everything, just see how much time you've got and how much capacity you've got at that present moment, and then make changes like in accordance with what you can do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about changing everything and waiting for that time to change everything. If you can only change 2 things and that's the only time you've got, why not just change those 2 things? Because then if you get those habitual and you have to think about them, when it comes time to change more things, then you're not having to change those 2 basic things. You've already done that. So you can actually change some additional things. And that actually makes quite a big difference.
Yeah, 100%. It is small bites, isn't it? I think it's the kind of analogy, sort of biting off more than you can chew. It's a conversation I have with multiple clients, members of the gym, and that kind of thing is, it's great. You want to do all of this. And especially if people sort of set their mind to something. Now, I'm cautious how I say this. I'm not poo-pooing this at all. If you set your mind to a thing and you go, right, I need to do this and I'm going to start now. That's fucking excellent. Like, do that. But understand that what you want to achieve is A, B, C, D, E. And like, of those 5 things, like 3 are probably realistic to implement now, and the 2 just need to be put on the back burner for a little bit. And I kind of use that a lot with people when they just, because everyone gets really excited and kind of goes, this is amazing. And then you get into the sort of, you sort of throw yourself into the spokes of it, and it's really, really fucking difficult. And then people are going to go, this is really hard, actually. I'm not going to bother. So yeah, the whole kind of like just implement bits. And then when that bit's concrete, implement the next bit and the next bit and the next bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and if you, like you said, if there's 5 things and you can do 3, but 2 of them are push, break the 2 down so they're so easy that you can do them. And then you've got the 5. And then on days where you've not got, and we spoke about this loads, on days where you've got more capacity, do what you planned to do originally, like the really hard bits of the 2. But on the days where you can't, like, have a 1,000 step goal, have like a 2 portions of fruit and veg goal. Like, you're doing absolute bare minimum. You're doing more than you would now, but you're not doing your ideal, but you're still doing better than you were. So like my step target at the moment is 5,000 steps, which takes about half hour, 40 minutes. All that means it's piss all, and I normally do more. But even on my shittest days, I know if I get out of the house for 1 walk, I'll hit that step target. And all that's doing is dragging me out of the house every single day. Whereas before, I'd do like 2 days of 10,000 a day, and then 3 days of not getting out of the house. Pointless.
Yeah. So it's that kind of, and I think a lot of it is just, it's kind of keeping yourself accountable as well.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have that, it sounds really trite and cheesy, but it really is a thing. If you kind of commit a thing and you commit yourself to a thing, I feel like everyone holds themselves, I think everyone holds themselves a lot higher than they would other people, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like if you kind of commit to yourself, I'm going to get out for half an hour every single day, and you don't do it, you feel like shit because you let yourself down. Whereas if you say to like me, I know clients lie to me, and that's fine. That's part of the territory. But if I say to people, get out for half an hour a day and go and have a walk, and they go, yeah, I can do that. And then I see them in a week's time. I say, how have you been getting on? Oh, great. Walked every day. I've had a great time. And I know you've been sat in your pants munching like crisps whilst watching Netflix, because that's what everyone's done for the last year.
Yeah.
But if you're going to commit that to yourself, you're much more likely to kind of do it. I think. I might be wrong, but that's if I'm going to make myself a point, then I'll do it.
Something I've been thinking about recently in terms of coaching is one of the biggest things people say to me when I say, oh, why now? Why do you want to work with me, etc. Other than my luscious hair and witty charm, they're always like, oh, I need some accountability. And one thing I'm like certain on is you can't use other people for accountability. You have to be accountable to yourself. That's what accountability is.
Yeah.
All I can do is teach someone how to be accountable to themselves. And so like a check-in obviously is showing me what they've done, but in reality, it's pretty much an accountability session with yourself to see these are the habits I've done, these are what I haven't, these were the numbers, all that sort of shit. And you've got to learn to hold yourself accountable for your own actions, which is basically being an adult.
Yeah. You pay your mortgage, you pay your rent, you pay your bills, you put petrol in the car. It's all things that you have to do. So put everything else in that same list of stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because those things are so high on your priority list that it's not like they're a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, well, this got in the way, so I didn't pay rent. Or like, oh, well, I've had one of those weeks, so what do you expect me to do? Pay the bills? Everyone would just be like, yeah. So like, if you prioritize your health to the same degree, like, oh, what did you expect me to do on this really shit day where everything went wrong? Eat my fruit and veg. Like, what? You've got to have that conversation with yourself and go, yeah, of course I am, you twat. Like, what?
So there was
the office screamed at you. You've still got to go and eat some fruit.
There's a story, and I can't remember the exact details, but it's one. A friend of mine posted it up recently, actually. So I think this is popped in my head because of that as well. But there's that kind of phrase of "burn the boats." Have you come across this? So I can't remember who it was. Some king way that went invaded somewhere else, and they were massively outnumbered. Like all of his army were a little bit sketchy here. We're not sure we're going to get this. So he gave the order to burn all of their boats. So the only way they could escape where they just invaded was on the enemy ships. So basically, it didn't give them the option to fail. Like, burn your only way out. Be accountable to yourselves and just fucking get on with it. So I think that's a really good kind of method. If you just don't give yourself the option to fail.
Yeah.
You just sort of, you commit to a thing. And if that thing is a certain number you want to hit in the gym or a certain way you want to look in the mirror or whatever it's going to be, you give yourself that and don't negotiate. It's non-negotiable. That is what you're getting. That's your goal. That's what you're going to end up with in X period of time. Within some time frame, you're going to be at that point. Commit to it and fucking go. Burn the boats.
Yeah. There's another really good example, like an analogy that I've heard the other day about the difference between being like interested and involved versus being committed. And it's something like a chicken and a pig on about opening a restaurant together. And the pig says, "Oh, what should we call it?" And then the chicken says, "Oh, how about ham and eggs?" And the pig says, "No, thanks, because I'd be committed, but you'd only be involved." So obviously the pig's the ham, and they're completely committed to it because it's made of them. But eggs is just what the chicken's giving rather than being involved themselves. And I really like that. I think that is the difference. Like, you can just like half-ass the idea of making a change, or you can be like fully invested. One of the things in the habit sprint was someone was on about doing, because what I was really keen on is having a daily habit, because with habits you need to build momentum. So if you say, "I'm going to do this 3 times a week," that's 4 days when you're not doing it, and it struggles to build up as a habit because you're not making it habitual. So one thing I changed with a few people where they said, "I'm going to do conditioning to help with my lifting 3 times a week." Say, "How can we make this something that you do every day?" And they said, "Oh, maybe we could do some mobility as well." I said, "Brilliant." And they said, "Oh, what would I call that though?" I said, "Well, why don't you make it a habit to do one thing that makes you a better lifter every day?" So that could be mobility, it could be conditioning, but just, I'm going to put 20 minutes aside to be a better lifter. And straight away you are involved in that goal that you've set. Because a lot of the time we set goals and they're massively detached from the actions that we're actually going to do. So what you're doing is bringing your actions closer to that goal that you've set. And now there's a little bit more of a relationship between the two, because you go, "Well, okay, I know I'm doing this. I've actually called it getting better at the thing that's actually my ultimate goal. And now I can really see how they relate."
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just putting pieces together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it loops right back to what we were talking about at the start of this, where it just keeps yourself accountable. Yeah. So, like, I care deeply about your opinion, because you're a very intelligent man and you're very good at what you do. However, I value my own opinion of myself more than I value your opinion of me. Good. And that goes for everybody, like literally everyone. I don't believe, I might be wrong, my personal opinion is I don't believe there is a single person on the planet that values anybody else's opinion of themselves higher than their own. Yeah. I really don't. When you really dig into it, I might be wrong. I don't think I am. But if you're kind of sitting there listening or watching this thinking, actually, I really care about Charlie and Charlie's opinion of me more than I care about my own opinion of me, I think you've got it very, very wrong. Like, hold yourself to a much higher standard than that. Like, in the grand scheme of things, my opinion of you don't matter for fuck all. It really doesn't. Your opinion of yourself matters quite a lot. Yeah. So I think that's got to be where everybody's priority sits. I think.
You are the expert on you, not me.
Thanks.
Like, and that's true for everyone as well. Like, I'm not the expert on anyone else.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone thinks themselves better than everybody else. It's fact. It's just one of those things. But I don't know. There'll be some brigade out there of people that just desperately need validation from people, and like, cool. But I don't understand that. I'm not in that boat with you. I don't get it. But if that's you, more power to you. If it ain't, I think you're right. But anyway, I don't know. Let's talk. Obviously, we've done sort of habits and bits and pieces like that. Let's talk about getting back to the gym. This is a topic we've covered off a couple of times this year, because obviously we've been getting back to the gym a lot of times and then we've had to take it off it again. But I feel like and this is purely anecdotal, I feel like a lot of people I've spoken to recently, people have really, really struggled over this last lockdown. Mm-hmm. For whatever the reason may be. One, maybe because it's just another lockdown and we're starting to get bored of it now. Two, the weather's been absolute balls. Yeah. Like, 3, it just felt fucking harder, and like, we know things are happening. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We can kind of see things coming. Obviously, we've got the vaccine out. Like, that's being rolled out pretty quick. Like, the rates are coming down. All of that stuff is there. So I feel like it's just the light at the end of the tunnel has been there, but it's that kind of carrot on a stick scenario. So I think people have really struggled with this last lockdown, and there's going to be a lot of excitement to get back to the gym and just go fucking nuts. Just go to the gym, smash things out, go lift heavy, write yourself off for a month and then try again. And I feel like that's going to be a kind of, I don't think there's a delicate balance of doing it right and wrong. I don't think there is a right or wrong. I think there's just a go get started and you'll be all right. Mm-hmm. There is the inevitability of everyone wanting to go back and just fucking smash out max effort lifts. We've covered that off before. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, provided you understand that you're not going to be as strong as you were if you've not been training. But yeah, like, the return to the gym thing, I think is quite interesting point. So this is definitely more your sort of air on psychology and that kind of thing. So like, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think you spoke about patience, didn't you? While we were off air, we were talking
Yeah.
about the need for patience. And I do think, like, at the end of the day, if you, before you go to the gym, think, what do I go to the gym for? It's not generally to only lift like massive weights once in your whole lifting career and never again.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, like, the goal is to lift as heavy as possible for as long as possible, probably to hit some huge numbers that eventually you might not know at the time, but you'll call them like a life PB.
Yeah.
And so if you looked at that as your ultimate goal, with everything else, like enjoying it and being healthy and all that come underneath it, what you, every single session then should be geared towards, how do I reach that? And I think I've spoke about this before, the book about the British Olympic team, where everything they did was ran past the test. Will it make the boat go faster?
Yeah.
If it doesn't make the boat go faster, we don't do it. Now, obviously people aren't professional athletes, so other things get in the way, but lifting maximally and being impatient now won't make your boat go faster in 5 years' time. If you imagine going into the gym and just being overzealous and being a bit of an idiot and injuring yourself, and everyone else is going back to the gym, they're going to the beach and stuff, and you're on crutches because you did something stupid.
Yeah. Imagine.
Versus like 2 weeks of like just general, just really just easing into the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it in isolation, then I want to go and do max bicep curls as well, obviously. Which I imagine is what you're talking about.
100%. Go collar yourself a bicep curl rack.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go to town.
I've got to think, actually, I'd also like to be doing this, which I've waited a year to do, in May as well, and in June.
Yeah.
So what's going to give me the best chance of doing that? And when it comes to that big number as well, what's going to give me the best chance of lifting those big numbers in 6 months' time when my strength has come back?
100%.
And,
There's a kind of, I listened to an interview recently, I can't remember who with, which is really annoying. I've been trying to think of this, and she said, but anyways, the person who was with a strongman athlete, it might have been Adam Bishop, may have been, I'm not sure. But anyways, the kind of interview was going like, with your training, what do you chase, big numbers or like solid progression? And it was solid progression every time. And it's one of those, I completely agree with not even the sentiment, with the process of you're doing this for a long time. I don't think anyone does strength sports because they fucking hate it.
No.
Like, you definitely don't. It is hard. Like competing in, or not even competing, just training and getting better at strongman, powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, anything like that. They are difficult sports. They take an awful lot out of you. They take a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of effort. And I don't think anyone would do it if they didn't enjoy it. So the fact is, let's assume that everyone's doing strength sports because they enjoy it. So you're going to want to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you're a dickhead like me who went into the gym sometime, let's say about 4 years ago, and did a deadlift that I had no right to do, and I've injured my back, and now I'm paying for it 4 years later, I'd probably call you an idiot. I mean, imagine doing that. Who'd do such a thing? Me. But the idea being is now I kind of have that. Not that it matters that I've got the experience of. Like I'm nursing a really shitty back at the minute. So realistically, I'm not going to be lifting heavy for a long time. And that's completely on me. That's because I just got overexcited and went in and did some stupid lifts that I had no right to do, which is fine. I did that. That's on me. But realistically, if I gave advice, if I was one of my athletes, I would have definitely told me not to do that.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of do as I say, not as I do scenario, I guess, which is exactly not how this should work. But I guess the advice I'll give to people is like, when you feel that you've kind of reached a point in the gym, just kind of stop. So for me, I'd gone back to the gym following just like a little period of ill health, should we say. Went back in and went, I've definitely still got a 300 kilo deadlift in me. And then I pulled 230 and destroyed my back. So in my head, like, I've still got 70 kilos on this, so I could definitely do it. And then it all went completely balls up. So yeah, so in terms of kind of going back into the gym, it's be sensible, like be patient, literally be patient. If you want to go in and just start maxing out reps, awesome. Like go do that, do it sensibly, warm up and stuff. Don't just throw 300 kilos to the bar and expect you can still lift it. You probably can't. You might, I don't think you can. But it's just understand you're going into the gym now. If you're not trained for a year, you're going in weaker than you left. You've probably got slightly less skill than you had before you left. Your recovery is going to be atrocious because you've had nothing really to recover from. So be sensible. It's, I guess, the kind of underlying thing. Be patient. It will come back. And if you want to do it for a long time, certainly don't be a dickhead like me.
No, I think what people sometimes struggle with patience is assuming that means that they don't like work hard in the interim, which
Oh no,
isn't
still work hard.
And like, I really like the quote. It's something like be irrationally passionate and patient. And I can't remember, there's a few people who've like said different iterations of it, but basically you work your absolute bollocks off and be completely impatient in the day to day. So impatience might look like I'm not missing out on getting my nutrition right today because I'm so impatient to get to this goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all my mobility because like if I don't, that's another day I'm further away from my goal. On that micro level, be completely impatient. Be so impatient that the longer I put these things off and don't do them, the longer it takes me to get to my goal. So I'm completely impatient on the day-to-day level. But in the long term, I'm really patient knowing how long this sort of stuff takes. So like people who aren't patient with their lifting don't think about how long that actually takes, but then they don't put the work in with the rest of the stuff, which all contributes to it. So be impatient with all that stuff. Be impatient. Who's impatient to get 7 portions of fruit and veg a day? Like be impatient with the stuff that's not sexy.
Yeah.
Because it makes a big difference. And then be patient with the stuff that everyone else wants to be doing.
Yeah. I can't fucking wait to eat my broccoli later.
Fuck me. Get me that piriformis stretch right now. I'll smash it. Mate, you can't even understand how mobile these hips are going to be later.
Mate.
I sound like a 70-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the kind of, like I said, the sexy stuff is, you know, get back into the gym and throw all the red plates onto a bar and pick the bastard up.
Yeah.
That's all great. And we all want to go and do that. And we'll go do it. Like, that's definitely a thing. We'll be back there, but it's a case of, you know, earn the right is a phrase I seem to say quite a lot. It's just earn the right to go and do it. At the minute, if you haven't trained for the last year, you don't have the right to go and lift as heavy as you did when you stopped training.
Yeah.
You just don't. So just kind of earn the right to it. Put the work in, be patient. Go and lift heavy, relatively.
The ironic thing is that if you focus on gradual progression, you'll get big numbers in the end.
Yeah.
But if you focus on big numbers, you never will.
No.
And that's the big irony of it all. I
tend to advise people just throw like 2.5 kilos. 2.5 kilos a week, 1.25 on each side of the bar, and just add those to your main lifts. And then, you know, it's 2.5 kilos a week over a month, that's 10 kilos. It doesn't always work like that. Granted, it's not as cut and shut as that. I'm not saying you can add 10 kilos a month to your lift if you do that. Of course, that's not how this works. But aim for that. Like 2.5 kilos is very doable. If it's not doable, strip it back, start again, and just do it again next week. But like, you'll always just add. It's progressive overload. It's the kind of underlying principle of how this shit works. But yeah, like, patience is a virtue. And it's one of those, in a month, going back to the gym now, you will probably add 10 kilos to your main lifts in the month.
Yeah, easy.
Like, I see no reason why you wouldn't. If you're going back in now, like if you had a 300 kilo deadlift when you stopped lifting, and you go back in now and you're now at 200 kilos, simple figures, there is absolutely no reason why, if you get back into gym and start following start following a program, or just a kind of structured set back into the gym, there is no reason you can't just add 2.5 kilos a week, and then this time next month you're at 210, and then 220, and then 230, and then 240. And the chances are those jumps will get bigger anyway, but then you'll be back at 300 in no time, and it will come. But it's just that, be patient, add the weight, do the work, you'll be absolutely fine.
Regaining strength of muscle doesn't take as long as gaining it for the first time, which we've said a lot on this as well. But you just have to be patient to get yourself to that point as quickly and safely as possible, and then you can crack on with what you were doing before Boris intervened.
Shout out, Boris.
Yeah.
Is there a word for cock block, but for gym going? I feel like Boris has cock blocked all of our gym gains.
Yeah, he has.
I don't know what the word would be. Gym block doesn't sound right.
Squat block?
Squat block. Curl block. I don't know. Answers in the comments. What would you call it? I'm genuinely intrigued. What are we going with? Oh dear, I don't know. I feel like actually we're getting more like comments from people now. Like Craig comments on everything because Craig's a little legend. He's always there in the comment section on YouTube and shouting bits and pieces out, which is awesome. Scott, I believe I owe money to because I think I offered a cash incentive to anyone that commented Badger on last week's episode.
You did, yeah. You owe him a tenner.
And he commented Badger. So Scott, I owe you a tenner. Maybe take a trip to the gym and I'll sort that out. There's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like more people are commenting. And at the minute, I've just said Scott and Craig. If more people comment, awesome. I'll just be really crap and I've forgotten who you are.
First, Charlie will give you all £10 each.
That was last week's episode, and now this is this week's episode. So
he's committed to buying followers and listeners, and he'll give £10 to you. And then...
Yep, I'm gonna answer one of those. We can get you 10,000 followers in 7 days. Accounts that message me on Instagram constantly with about 27 followers themselves on one post.
Do you want to be a business expert? And I always sit there like, if you were such an expert, why were you cold DMing people like me on Instagram?
Yeah, correct. Me with my 1,200 followers, and you're going like, we can do really good by you, and you have 18 followers. You've done well.
You want to earn 4 billion. Like, well, if you've already done it, then why
are you messaging me?
And why aren't you off, like, doing coke off the side of a yacht?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what I would do if I had billions.
Yeah,
100%. Except it wouldn't be. It would be eating kale because health.
Yeah, I'd be focused on small habits. So start off with a small line of coke. And progress into that.
Progress to just the whole bag.
Yeah.
Nice. There we go. That took a turn because I remember an episode when we were talking about your double cream habits and my coke habits, and now we're talking about your coke habits and my kale habits.
See, progress for you, that is.
100%. I'll take it. I'm really sorry. My terrible habits seem to have formed off on you. So
I've regressed horribly.
It's the haircut, mate. It's weighing your brain down.
Generate now. Yeah, I'm like some sort of coke-related Samson. You know how when he lost his hair, that's his strength. When I go,
your hair grows and you just regress.
Yeah, they've become
perfect.
Yeah,
bottle of Frosty Jacks behind the clubhouse, something like that.
Yeah,
excellent. We're there.
Beyond the village hall, you know what I mean?
Beyond the village hall, where I've not spent the last 3 months of my life. It's all part of the story. That's what I keep telling myself. It's all part of the story. Anyway, I think that just about wraps up. So,
I think so.
Just to kind of,
I think so.
Yes. Good. I had no need to call that back, but I did. So just to sort of recap, 28th of April, Charlie will be doing an online workshop. So I'll be thumping stuff out about that. We'll get people booked on for that. That should be good. Obviously, Charlie's Habit Sprint. Actually, I didn't ask. You're on the last week of this was Habit Sprint. Are you doing another Habit Sprint anytime soon?
Not in the pipeline yet, but if there is interest in the future, there probably will be another one at some point this year.
Wicked. Cool. So if you're interested in another one of those and just sort of getting your shit in together and forming some new habits and just trying to be a better you. I hate that sort of shit. It's really twee, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Then drop Charlie a note on Instagram. You will find him at cbnutrition_. There you go. Drop him a note. Ask him about habit sprints. He's definitely your man for that sort of stuff. Return to gym stuff, training wise, programming wise, all that kind of stuff. I'm probably your man for that. I can help with that. I'm quite good at that. Like I said at the start of the call, terrible with nutrition, quite good with training.
That's a tagline, that isn't it?
100%. That's a t-shirt right there. I might change the tagline on our logo. There's like terrible nutrition, quite good at training.
Yeah, I like
that thing. I might do it 100% and do that. But yeah, and that's kind of it. I didn't give you the forewarning that I just went and sold you shit without telling you, here's the bit where we sell shit. Yep. So apologies. I'm not sorry. If you want to buy our shit, buy our shit. If you don't, that's fine. Obviously, if you're local to Maidenhead, which is where the gym is, we have got availability to train outside at the minute. So we're back open. I've got sort of 6 platforms set up around the place. So you can come down and do some workouts and stuff. So if you want to join in and train, but your gym isn't quite open yet, by all means, drop me a note. There'll be a space for you. If you're not local, but you're willing to travel, you're an idiot because it's not that great, but you're more than welcome all the same. And that's kind of it. And then obviously from the 12th of April, with any luck, we'll be back inside, unless Squat Block Boris put hold on things again and pushes the date back a little further. But hopefully we'll be back in again on the 12th. I think that's it from us, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Smashing. Awesome. I feel like that was quite a neatly wrapped end to the show. Normally I spend a lot more time waffling than that, but I feel like that was good. And now I'm waffling. So with that in mind, I'm going to hit the stop button. I'm going to stop recording. I'll get this lumped up later on. In the meantime, like I say, anything that you want Charlie to cover off in nutritional stuff, drop him a note. If you want to learn more about the habit sprint, drop him a note. Training-wise, maybe drop me a note. That's it. That's the summary. Awesome. Mr. Beastone, until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And I will see you soon. Cheers, bud.
Bye.